Hi, my name is Rachel Miller. I am the author of that quiz you just took and of a book called When It Hurts to Hope. Okay, so I wrote this book because I wanted to address the pain of unmet longing. Ooh, that's not very fun. We all know what it's like to be in a season of life where we're hoping for something very dear to our hearts. Maybe it's a relationship, you want to be married. Maybe it's that you want to become a parent. You have a work dream that you're headed towards that you don't know when or maybe even if it's going to happen. Or maybe you're searching for healing from chronic illness. All of these things become like very weighty and heavy things. And sometimes despite all of our best efforts, it can take years or months or we just don't know if and when this thing is going to happen. And after years and years of hoping for something, honestly, it hurts too much to hope. I wrote this quiz that you just took in order to help us understand the negative coping tendencies that we use to solve this discomfort, the tension of living with unmet longing. And you, my friend, got the frozen response. So there's generally two ends of the spectrum where we tend to get a little bit stuck. And one is the fragile response, where we are totally emotionally fragile and frantic and anxious. We are obsessive about solving the problem. However, on the other end of the spectrum is the frozen response, which is where we don't really try anymore. Honestly, we've given up. A lot of people find themselves in this place. I want you to picture this as like you had this hope and this dream that you got so tired of working towards that you just put out into that deep freezer in your garage. It's there somewhere, but you've forgotten about it. You've buried it. You've ignored it because it's just too painful. When we get stuck in the frozen response, honestly, we tend towards anger and resentment for how our life has turned out. We can become perfectionistic, really hard on ourselves and on other people. We can become afraid of intimacy and of being vulnerable and really letting people in. And all of these things are just ways that we try to protect ourselves, and we don't even engage with the desire anymore. We truly have just totally shut down. I talk a lot about this issue and how to respond instead of frozen or fragile. There's a third way, which I write about in chapter 10 of my book. However, today I want to give you just a few really practical tips that can help you if you find yourself stuck in this frozen end of the spectrum. Number one is listen to your longing. Just pay attention. What is that thing that you have almost forgotten about, that you're afraid to listen to? Because here's the deal, it is there, whether you acknowledge it or not. In one of my interviews I did for this book, I talked to my friend Sarah, and she talked about some issues that she was having with chronic illness, which were leading to infertility problems for her and her husband. And she said, you know what? The reality is I will always want kids. It's just the truth. I know that this may sound really scary, but in order to be totally emotionally integrated, you have to pay attention to that desire because, like I said, it's there, whether you acknowledge it or not. Number two is to let someone in. When we get frozen, we cut ourselves off from relationship with God and with other people. We have a really hard time practicing vulnerability. You might have a hope or a dream that you have never shared with anybody. That's a lonely and scary place to be. So I encourage you to choose one person, whether that's opening up in prayer to the Lord and getting honest with him. And believe me, he can handle it. He can handle whatever it is you want to say to him. Or if it's choosing to talk to a trusted friend, no matter who it is, choose to let someone in and tell them, hey, I'm scared about this. Or I want this. I hope for this. Or I've stopped hoping for this and I want to get my hope back. Take one step towards vulnerability. And number three, I wonder if there's something you can do today, even if you can't do the big thing, right? Maybe you're not going to get that job promotion, or maybe you're not going to get pregnant today, but is there something you could do, a small thing that you can get to the need beneath the need? For example, if you're hoping for a relationship, a lot of the time it's because we experience loneliness and we know it's not good to do life alone. So is there something you can do to connect with someone you love and to feel a sense of companionship, even if it's not the real thing that you hope for someday? Hey, thanks for your time. It's really cool to connect with you. I don't know where you are, what you brought you here today, but I'm really grateful for you. And I'd love to stay in touch via email. My name's Rachel Miller. And like I said, my book, When It Hurts to Hope, it's actually available on Amazon. It comes out in March, but it's already available for pre-order today if you're interested in picking up a copy. All right, have a good one.